Welcome back to the Man2Man Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Chapman, alongside my co-host,
Carson Chapman.
And today, Carson, is a very bittersweet day. We are actually filming the very last Man2Man Podcast episode. We're going to do a big show. It's going to be an hour-ish, so sit back, relax. We got multiple guests coming on the show. But
Multiple deaths.
I meant guest, sorry.
But a little rusty.
Yeah, I am rusty. It's been a while. We kind of been calling and texting. We're like, we just do not have time. We don't live together anymore. You work till 5. I just switched majors. We're both busy. So a little life update on both of us as we get ready to start the show. I switched to education. That's my new major. I'm going to become an elementary school teacher. So I'm super excited about that. I'm also part-time teaching at a private Christian school called New Covenant Academy. And so that's been taking up a lot of my life, playing lots of intramurals. Schoolwork, gonna have a fiance in the near future with Melanie. Bought a ring.
Spoilers.
Spoilers or not, we do not need to know. She does not need to know the month I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna say soon. But bought a ring, so big life change here. And so we figure, you know what? We won't have time to consistently do this every week, but we'll give the people one last one. So, Cars, what you been up to?
Jack, I just wanted to say what a great pleasure it has been to be your co-host. When you had this idea,
it was a year ago today, Carson.
Was it really?
I got
the 1 year anniversary.
So today is the 1 year anniversary because I got the bill for buying Apple Podcast Connect program, and it was September, whatever today is when I purchased it, and so today was our year long. So it's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. That's all come full circle. Because I remember when you had the vision, you just kind of said that you had been listening to a lot of podcasts and you thought we could do one, and you had the name for it and everything. My thing from the get-go was like, if you want to come up with it and make it your own, I will be your co-host, but I wanted it to be your thing, and I think we made something pretty good, Jack. I think we made something pretty good. It was a fun way for us to interact. It was a way to get our thoughts out there.
Multiple guests on the show.
Yeah, and with the guests, it just became a way to interact with our friends. It became a way to get people that we don't see all the time to interact with them, and everybody that came on said it was such a blast. So I'm glad we had this platform.
Right. It's going to be episode 23. We're going out with Jordan year.
Ending on episode 23.
Ending on episode 23.
And I don't think we have anybody more deserving of being a guest on our final show tonight.
So this guy has been a lifelong supporter for this year. Lifelong friend of both me and Carson. This guy has been a supporter of our show. He has posted us on his Instagram. He texts us and we'll debate our topics outside of the show. But he's lived in New York for some time, and so it's kind of hard to get him on the show. I was trying to figure out how to get him on Zoom, but he's back in Murray. I said for the last one, we absolutely have to have him on the show, and that is Mr. Jeremy Darnell.
Welcome to the show,
Welcome to the show, sir. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeremy Darnell. That's my introduction.
There we go. So, Jeremy, you know ball. Would you say you know ball?
A little bit.
A little bit of ball. So today we are actually going to be doing an all-time draft in all 3 of the major sports, NBA, NFL, and MLB. And since Jeremy knows ball and is also an OKC Thunder guy right here because he knows ball by being an OKC guy, we're going to do an all-time starting 5 draft in the NBA. And of course, I think we got to give our guest the number 1 pick. So we're going to the starting 5. All time.
I think what's important to remember here about this starting 5 is we're not all picking the same positions at all time. It's not like we're going to pick our best point guard. So you got to be strategic about when you pick somebody, right? Because some positions have better depth than the other, and once that guy's off the board, then he's gone.
Absolutely.
It's just like a draft.
So he'll go first pick, then I'll go second, and then you go back to back.
Okay, yeah, we'll snake it.
And then in the NFL, you go first. I'll go last in the NFL, and then MLB we'll give Dad the number 1 pick. So
that won't be confusing at all for the listeners.
That'll be fine. We'll figure it out. So Jeremy, the first pick in the all-time NBA draft, who are you going with?
All right. Well, I feel like this is pretty straightforward here.
It's a layup here.
There's only 1 or 2 answers to go here.
Correct.
So I guess I'm gonna pick from the small forward position.
There we go.
I'm going with the multiple number 23-6.
Wow.
You taking LeBron?
It's going Braun first
LeBron
pick?
James.
I thought you might go Jordan.
Wow.
Tell us why.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Elaborate.
I mean, why would you not?
Is he your GOAT?
I mean, I never watched Michael Jordan play.
Correct.
That's the problem here. So for me, yes.
He's the greatest in your eyes because you physically have watched him.
I only get Michael Jordan highlights, so you can't really tell,
That's
what's
correct.
going on there.
That's tough because I wanted Braun at 2. Braun was actually going to run my point guard if I was going to have, listen, I talked to Dad before this, I had this whole lineup in mind of I want to be able to switch 1 through 5, and it all premised on the fact that somebody was going to take Jordan first, and I was going to get Braun at the point guard, but now it's all shot. So now I'm going to take the obvious number 2 pick. I'm going Michael Jordan at my 2. What can you say? If, the debate between Jordan and Michael is who's the greatest of all time, some people argue LeBron is, other people argue Jordan. Both of them are exceptional in every facet of the game, truly. There's not a flaw in their game. They're multiple-time winners of the NBA championship. So, everybody knows who Michael Jordan is, and everybody knows who LeBron James is. There's not really... it's a 1A, 1B pick right now. So
yeah, you really couldn't get, I think 3 is where it gets interesting in this draft, right? Because I feel like the consensus is nowadays it's LeBron or Jordan.
Right.
And to tell you the truth, for me, it wasn't until the Last Dance documentary came out that I truly just cemented Jordan.
Right.
And so, I kind of always gone back and forth on that. But I believe here is where it gets interesting.
Right. Who is he thinking is the 3rd best player of all time, Jeremy?
Well, see, and that's what I think is so interesting about this pick is that by drafting this player, I don't necessarily think that it's the 3rd best of all time, right? I'm going to find somebody at a position
to fit your team, right?
That might be a premium,
right?
Now, what I love about this is I want to draft somebody that plays after my play style. Where I might have adopted.
Gosh, I know who he's picking,
where I might have adopted a lot of my habits as a basketball player. If you ever play pickup basketball with me, a lot of you know that I am allergic to the paint. If I shoot a layup, it's on accident, and therefore my number 1 pick is Steph Curry.
Oh, I could have put so much money on that to know that you were going Steph.
In modern day basketball,
you're right.
In modern day basketball, I think Steph has revolutionized the game. Wow, that was a tongue twister. I don't even know.
It's been a while for you too.
Yeah. I'm getting back on the saddle here. But I fell in love with Steph during his Davidson days. Jackson, of course,
I will say this: Carson is not a Steph bandwagon fan. I truly remember Carson watching Steph at Davidson, saying this guy will be something special. So I will give Carson some credit here. He was a Steph Curry truther before everybody was a Steph Curry truther.
I appreciate it, Jack. Just fell in love with how he played the game, and it truly has changed how so many teams draft, how so many teams build their organizations now. And so if I'm building a modern-day team, I want the best shooter on the planet. So I'm going to take Steph there. And then if I am going to build, I think we can all agree, the power forward and center position are stacked.
Yeah, and also you can interchange those. Like if I wanted to play a 4 at my 5, and if you want to play a 4 at your 5, that's fine. And
I think I'm going to go get somebody that is at a premium position at shooting guard. There weren't a whole lot of great options. I'm going to go ahead and take Kobe.
Good pick.
I'm going to go ahead and take Kobe Bryant. Now, I don't know if he'll ever give the ball back to Steph when Steph passes it to him, because we all know that Kobe did a lot of ball hogging, as the kids used to say. But,
that's the kid. You stop. You are so old, man.
I really couldn't think about it. He's just an inefficient shooter in a lot of ways, but the dude put up numbers. He's the Mamba mentality.
And a two-way guy. People don't give
He brought
Kobe,
it on the defensive end.
He was a two-way guy for sure.
So I'm going to take my backcourt being Steph Curry and Kobe.
That's a great pick. You can't really go wrong with that. I knew you were going Steph, but I for some reason thought you were going to go and not take Steph. And so now I'm kind of thinking, what do I want for my team? So I've got arguably the greatest of all time. He can do it on both ends of the court. So I'm thinking, do I want a playmaking point guard who is just strictly going to get everybody buckets, or do I want a dominating center in the paint? And I think I want the dominating center in the paint. Give me Shaquille O'Neal. A pick and roll duo of Shaq and MJ seems undefeated, correct? I don't see a lot of teams stopping that. We'll figure out the spacing with my later picks.
Will Shaq fit into the triangle offense? That's what we have to ask, Jack.
Jordan's going to fit into every offense.
Okay.
And Shaq's going to fit into every offense. So I'm going with my center, my dominant paint presence down low, Shaquille O'Neal. Jeremy, now you got back-to-back picks. And so you can go a lot of ways with these two guys right here.
Look, I didn't come prepared for this. I have a list. I have one shooting guard left. On my so if anybody takes my shooting guard,
you better take him now.
You better take him now.
I'm going to have to go to the Go back to the drawing boards. I don't know if he's gonna come in these next 2 picks. So I got LeBron at the 3.
Correct.
So we're going with right now.
You can play him at the 4 if you want to go small ball.
You could also play him at the 1 if you wanted.
I got some ideas for the 4.
Okay.
I've already got some ideas. Let's see. Shaq's off the board. I think we're gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go back to the point guard. I'm gonna take my point guard this pick. Arguably the greatest point guard of all time. Steph, up there. My guy,
up there.
above.
Okay. I know.
I'm gonna take 6'8".
Come on, Carr.
2-way passer, Magic Johnson.
I'm out on Magic. Magic was not on my list. I just I couldn't do it. I know Showtime. I never saw the dude play.
Right.
Never saw the dude play. But honestly, I thought he was overrated. That's my
the reason behind my pick here is
he's cooking something. Let him cook.
6'8" point guard. Okay, we're going for size.
I see
2-way, he's a defender.
Yep.
Right, and
He'll
LeBron's
play
a 2-way
both
as well.
ways, and he's not gonna shoot he's not gonna take the shots away from everybody else.
Right.
On the floor.
He's going to get you about 18 and 12 assists, and that's what you want from your point guard, is that not?
Who's going to shoot threes for your team?
That's what he's going to figure out. I have faith in him. I know what he's doing. In fact, I think I know your 2 guard. I think I know your 2 guard.
But I think he's waiting.
Listen,
I think he's waiting.
We
on
both
his
got 2 guards. We both got 2 guards. So if you want your 2 guard, you can go ahead and take them now because we're not going to take them.
I think I'm gonna take. Let's see.
That's a great point, Jackson. I was not thinking about that.
Right, we've already got our 2 guards. So you can go
Well, I
ahead
might
and
as well just wait on my 2 guards.
That's true. That's a good
you
point.
can
That's a
wait.
good
Go ahead
point.
and
That's
get
a
your
good
guy.
So out of, let's see, what kind of
I
options
like the
have
strategy here. We're figuring this out on the fly.
I'm thinking, like, if I'm seeing these guys on the court, how am I going to make
How are
this
they going
work?
to play together?
And so I'm cooking something right now. Just give it time.
All right. Let me take. I want to save my center pick. I feel like I can get a good steal
Come on.
on there. I'm gonna go ahead and take my power forward. Take my power forward. He's a new guy.
Still playing today?
Still
Okay.
playing right now
Oh, I know. It's pretty easy.
for the Bucks.
Oh, actually, no. I was not
No,
thinking
not
that.
that.
You got no spacing.
Giannis,
You got no spacing.
Jimmy, bro, we're going to pack the paint on you.
You can't score on me.
That is true. That is true.
You
Listen,
go 6'8", 6'8", 6'11".
listen, and they can switch 1 through 5.
Exactly.
Right now, you can switch 1 through 5.
Giannis can play point. LeBron can play point. Magic can play whatever.
Jeremy just went create a player on 2K where
Correct.
you just make everybody 7'6", and you
Correct.
can't ever shoot
That's
anybody.
the new style. Oklahoma City is already going
That is true.
way.
Hey, we're pushing that agenda of everybody needs to be tall, but everybody can handle the ball. Now, we're struggling with a little bit of Giddy on the 2-way side, but, you know, Shea and J-Dub and Chet will be good 2-way guys.
6'6" point guard, 6'8" shooting guard.
Right.
6'8",
Zub's about
What
6'6", 7, 6, 7, whatever he is.
and then Chet and
Fill in the last starter. It
We'll
don't
let
matter.
y'all create.
Another 7
We'll let
footer.
y'all create your Thunder podcast
Oh,
whenever
man.
this one ends.
I'm so excited to
alright?
watch them. I'm so
So
excited.
Jeremy, who's your pick?
He went
Giannis.
Giannis.
Okay.
Giannis.
So yeah, you got no spacing right
3.
now, but we're
So far you've got LeBron,
LeBron,
Magic.
Magic and
and
Giannis.
Giannis. Okay.
So yeah, we're not gonna score on their team, but we could sit in the paint and play 2-3 zone against them.
Speed kills.
So my pick here, I've got Jordan and I've got Shaq, and so now I need some shooting because you know Jordan, respectable shooter, but not the sniper that I need him to be. And at my 4, if I want some spacing, I want the German Dirk Nowitzki at my 4.
Had him on my list.
That's my stretch 4, pick and pop. So we're pick and popping with him, and then we're pick and rolling with Shaq.
Okay.
And my point guard, I'll figure that out later. But I know for a fact that Dirk's going to shoot about 40 to 42% from 3. He's going to hit you with that one-legged post fadeaway, and it's going to be tough to stop.
Beautiful. Got the statue.
Oh, it's beautiful. And so right now, we might be lacking a little bit defensively in our front court with Shaq. And Shaq's a respectable defender, and then Dirk, not so much, but we'll figure it out. I don't need defense if I'm scoring 160 points a game. So I'm going Dirk as my 4.
Okay. So I am going to go draft my big man now. As you all have given some size, I've got the smallest team so far. I've got
Right.
Steph at 6'3" and Kobe at 6'6". So I'm gonna go take Hakeem Olajuwon.
Ooh.
Hakeem the Dream.
Hakeem the Dream.
Dude, has all the moves. Like, a lot of people would compare Giannis's game to Olajuwon. I've seen them splice up together in a video. I didn't know Hakeem moved like that. He's very agile, is shifty, great at blocking shots, and so he's just my interior presence. I'm gonna have Hakeem down low, and then I'm gonna rep the white guys getting it done in the league. My small forward is gonna be Larry Bird.
Okay.
Larry Legend, another shooter to the team.
Right.
Another underrated thing about Larry Bird is he's an exceptional passer. And so when Steph gives up the ball to him, Steph coming off all those cuts and everything like that, you've got to maybe Larry Bird plays another level up to the Draymond role.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, because Larry Bird was no slouch defensively.
That's what I'm saying. And so you can't sag off of Larry Bird like you can Draymond. And so when Steph's cutting everybody up, you sag off of Larry. And this is pre-injuries, Larry.
Right.
This is all guys at the peak.
Well, let's talk about
their abilities.
So Larry was able to guard guys in his era. Is Larry going to be able to guard Kevin Durant?
Probably not.
That's what I'm thinking.
Probably not. But I mean,
I'm sure Dad is just rolling in his grave when I just said that now.
None of y'all have drafted KD yet, so maybe I get KD on my team.
Maybe I get KD on my team later. It's actually really funny you say that
because your next pick.
Because my 3 is going to be Kevin Durant, the purest scorer of all time. Yep. I mean, 7 foot, can shoot can score at all 3 levels, an exceptional passer, an exceptional ball handler. The dude does it all. He's going to shoot 36 to 38% from 3 at a high clip. The volume is going to be there. No weaknesses in his offensive game. And I don't really need defensive-minded presence when I've got Jordan and I've got Shaq. And so I'm sliding in KD as my 3. We're tall as well. We're 6'6". I'm calling KD 6'10". I'm calling Dirk 7 foot. And I'm calling Shaq 7 foot. Okay. So we're tall right now. So that's my 3 is going to be KD.
I told you big guys were going to dominate this.
Absolutely.
Big guys dominate
Absolutely.
This.
So go ahead and take your – this is your last 2 picks, actually.
Last two picks.
KD was in the running for my shooting guard.
You were just going to go an ultra gigantic lineup.
No way. Kevin Durant at the shooting guard would have been unstoppable.
That would have been crazy.
I hope we were going to play these games with injuries off because your guys' knees would not be able to stay with the small guards.
You're correct. I'm trying to think, who am I going to get to guard Steph at my 1? I got to figure that out.
Magic Johnson.
Okay. He's not guarding Steph. I'm sorry. Steph is running circles around Magic Johnson.
All right, Jeremy. You
need some spacing.
I got 2 picks left.
2 picks.
I got my center and my shooting guard.
Who's your shooting guard? My shooting guard,
we'll save the... I'm going to do my shooting guard right now.
I know who it is. Just say it.
We're going for some team chemistry here. Throwback Miami Heat.
I know it. Yes, Say it.
Dwayne Wade.
No, I thought he was going Ray Allen.
Oh, that's actually
Ray Allen.
LeBron James.
You still have no spacing. You've got no space. Listen. You are playing 2010s basketball to a T.
Oh, I'm saying 1980.
I knew you were picking D Wade, but I was like, you don't need D Wade.
I need D Wade. Team chemistry.
So what are you missing now? What position are you missing now?
Center.
Okay, so center. Maybe your center.
20 good ones left.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, one of arguably the greatest of all time. 2, in my opinion.
Number 2. Oh.
No, there's 2 centers
above him
still left that are,
Okay.
Okay.
We got to choose between Kareem.
Correct.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Correct.
And that's it.
Okay.
So
which one you picking?
So, based off my scoring ability of the team overall so far inside, either of those 2 picks are going to be the same thing. So
he's so methodical with this.
Yeah,
he's just sitting there.
I'm trying to follow along, and each sentence has a period after it,
and then it's got the ellipsis with the 3 dots after.
I'm still trying to make my decision, so I'm trying to prolong the.
Do you want a guy that scored 100 in a game, or do you want a guy that was once the all-time scorer?
Are we going based off ability or their ability when they played?
I don't even know what he just asked.
Okay, I know what he's asking. So he's saying
Wilt's dropping 100 in a game
against plumbers is what he's saying.
against the people he was playing against. If you put him here now, he's
Correct. But
Jimmy, I'm gonna tell you, I never watched either of them play. It's up to you, buddy.
Hey, just go ahead, pick one.
I don't even know if there's film on Wilt.
There's a picture of him.
There's stats though.
Hey,
Stats
do y'all believe the myth that Otto Porter is one of his lost sons because of how many women he slept with?
Absolutely.
Could be.
Could be.
I mean, high chances.
Who's to say? All right, so you had long enough. You got to pick one now.
You can't. I'm picking Kareem.
Okay,
thank
You
you.
can't not pick Kareem.
All right.
I mean, he's top 3 in some people's lists all time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. To get him in the 5th round, great value.
Yeah, great value.
Great value.
Yeah, I
there.
mean, I thought he would be gone sooner, so I'll take it.
Okay, so who do you got?
So yeah, full lineup 1 through 5.
All right, we got the 1 with Magic Johnson,
I was gonna say we're putting him on the spot here.
Dwayne Wade at the 2,
Yep.
Right.
LeBron at the 3, Giannis at the 4, and then Kareem at the 5.
You're so tall.
You're so tall. You're so good defensively. But again, we are playing 2-3 zone and making LeBron make all your threes. Because
I'm pretty sure every single one of my guys can bully their way into the paint.
that is true.
Okay.
That is true. Giannis is going to say, screw that 2-3
I've
zone.
been calling for the offensive 3 seconds.
That's right.
I've
That's
been
right.
calling
That's
for
right.
3
It's
seconds.
going to be a pick and roll all day.
That's right. Okay, so I've got Jordan at my 2. I've got Durant at my 3. I've got Dirk at my 4. And I've got Shaq at my 5. I need a point guard that is going to sit down and guard somebody, but also feed these guys because all of them are going to need their shots. And there hasn't been very many white guys chosen today. So I'm going to choose the best white point guard of all time, and that's John Stockton.
I thought you were going Steve Nash.
No.
I was gonna be.
Ease the brakes. Ease the brakes. John Stockton could do it on both ends. John Stockton's like top 5 in steals and also the all-time assist
How
leader.
tall is he, like 6'1"?
I don't care.
Okay.
He's going to feed my guys. If Jordan needs to guard y'all's point guard, Jordan can guard your point guards.
I'm definitely too recency biased. Steve Nash, like one of my favorite players of all
Yeah,
time.
I'm a big Steve Nash
Yeah.
guy, but what's Steve Nash do? Who's Steve Nash guarding on any of these teams? Right now, if I had to choose, I'd put John Stockton on D Wade. I'd put Jordan on Magic.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. That's like the USA practice that people talk
Absolutely,
about on the
absolutely.
dream team.
So my 5, I got Stockton to feed the mouths of all the hungry lions wanting to score the ball.
Okay.
I've got Jordan being the GOAT. I've got Durant being the scorer he is. I've got Dirk being my stretch forward, and I've got Shaq as my 5, as my paint presence, bullying everybody down low.
Okay. So I have 2 power forwards still on my list. So to remind you, my team so far is Steph Curry. Then at shooting guard, I've got Kobe Bryant. Then my small forward is Larry Bird, and my center is Hakeem the Dream. So I'm gonna go with the guy, Mr. Fundamental, they call him, Tim Duncan.
Hey, the fact that he's the last pick in
Great
this
value.
draft, that's an insane pick.
Great value. A lot of top 10 lists would have him somewhere in there,
Right.
somewhere in the 6 through 10 range.
Absolutely. Great pick.
5-time NBA champ.
Yeah.
Uses the glass unlike anybody I've ever seen before. So if I've got him kind of in that short area to take care of my mid range,
Is he the king of the mid range?
I think so.
I mean, is there anybody better in the mid? Maybe
KD,
DeMar
KD,
he just said DeMar DeRozan. That's
Yeah.
wild.
KD and DeMar have
That's
definitely
wild.
turned basketball
Hey,
back
hey.
on their heads.
Shay,
Shay. That's true.
put some respect on his name.
All right, so to round it up, I've got Tim Duncan as my power forward.
So what's your 1 through 5?
Again, it's Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, and Hakeem the Dream.
Man, we got some studs.
That was fun.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna have to put this in 2K later on and see which team's gonna be the best. So text me y'all a lineup and I'll see which team has the best
That's right.
record. But Jeremy, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
It's
my
a
friend.
pleasure to have you on the show.
Good to have you back.
Appreciate you supporting us all throughout these 23 episodes. And hey, let's go OKC, baby. Hey, before you leave the show, what's the final record this year for OKC? How many wins we getting?
Final record up for debate. Playoff spot.
What seed?
Western Conference Finals.
Oh, I love it! 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 That's a bold take right there, baby. But Jeremy, thank you again.
We appreciate your
We
time.
appreciate you on the show. All right, we'll talk some OKC ball later in the future. But we got to get to our next guest because, again, this is a mega show. Everybody say bye to Jeremy. So the next show, or the next part of this, we are doing an all-time NFL draft. And, Jeremy was one of Carson's all-time lifelong friends. This is a guy that I know knows football and is one of my good buddies. This is Mr. Hunter Rudolph. How you doing, Mr. Rudolph? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
So if I know that anybody knows ball, if we're talking about football, I know it's this guy. And so when I texted him about being on the show, he said, "Yes, sir, I'm there." And so,
I'm very happy to be
so
there.
it's going to be a good time. Oh yeah, have y'all officially met?
Yeah, I know all about Hunter, and it goes even further than our trade discussion last week, Jack.
Oh, that's right, y'all are in a league together.
As we were coming home from Paducah last Saturday, Jackson got a text from Hunter, and we were trying to do some hardcore fantasy trade negotiating. My question was going to be, Hunter, what do you like more? Do you like watching your fantasy team on a Sunday, or just watching football in general?
I'm a Seahawks fan.
Okay, so is Seahawks over? Like, if the Seahawks win, that overcomes
that trumps your
if
fantasy
your
team.
fantasy team loses.
I have a good week if my Seahawks win.
There you go.
And I go 0-4 in fantasy.
Right.
Okay.
But if my Seahawks lose and I go 4-4 in fantasy, then it kind of balances.
Okay.
I agree.
Makes
You know what
sense.
I mean?
So today we're going to do we're going QB, running back, 2 wide receivers, tight end, a DB, safety or cornerback, and a linebacker and a D lineman. So a lot to do in this draft. Carson, you got the 1 pick.
I got the 1 pick.
You got the 1 pick.
One.
So we'll give you the 2 pick, and then I'll go 3 pick.
I want last.
You want last?
I
You want
want
the
last.
snake?
I
Okay,
want
I'll
the
go
snake.
2 again.
I want the snake.
So, also, we're not doing this in any order, so we're not going all quarterbacks. We're not going all running backs. He can just pick who you want. And I'm assuming defenses are going to go last unless there's like an absolute stud that you want on your defensive side of the ball.
I do not even have a defense on my. Oh, you're saying like the defensive guys?
Right. The defensive guys are.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
It's
I'm
off
gonna
the
go
dome.
get my offensive weapons
Right,
first.
absolutely.
I'm all about points. If
Right.
you haven't been able to tell so far in the podcast.
Right. So the 1-1 pick of the all-time NFL draft, Mr. Carson Chapman, go for it.
All right. So again, this is very interesting because I think quarterback it's deep, right? There's
Let's be real. All 3 of us are picking quarterback first.
Okay, yeah,
I mean,
like-
come on now.
I mean, yes, positional value wise, you might want to go draft another position if there's one guy that stands out. But to me, like, if I'm building a team, I need to make sure my quarterback's in place, and there's nobody that I would rather have running my team than Tom Brady.
That's the 1-1.
Took me a while to come around. I wasn't necessarily a Brady hater, but I just didn't ever like give him all of his credit until that Falcon Super Bowl.
Right.
That's what did it for me. The coming back from down 28-3. As Dad pointed out, we kind of had this thing about the team wearing white in the Super Bowl. Won so many years in a row, and I told him, I said, if the Patriots come back, I texted him at halftime, if the Patriots come back down 28-3 in the white uniforms, like, I'm never picking somebody that's not wearing white in the Super Bowl again. Like, that's gonna do it for me. So I got Tom Brady. You know, I mean, he's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
In every essence of the word. I want him running my team, so he's the 1-1 for me.
So this may be a tad controversial. This is a quarterback, but a lot of people are going to say there's so many other quarterbacks better than him. He's still in the league, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I want the most talented quarterback of all time. I want Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, he's my GOAT.
That's a great pick.
I want the guy that is going to go out there and give me all he's got. He's going to chuck about 45 passes a game. And think about it. Me and Dad had this conversation. Besides Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, we're not even gonna talk about Travis Kelce. Besides Tyreek Hill, who is the second best receiver in Mahomes' tenure as the Chiefs quarterback? Do y'all know?
I got no
Sammy Watkins, maybe.
That's close.
Good guess.
The one with I think Dad said is the one of the second most catches is DeMarcus Robinson.
Wow, I would not
That's
have
crazy.
I would not have guessed that.
And so that kind of shows how amazing Patrick Mahomes is. Now again, he's been with one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, and he's been with arguably one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
Yeah.
But in terms of his other weapons, he's had bare minimum, bottom of the barrel, and has won 2 Super Bowls. He's went to 3, or has he went to 4? He's went to 3.
I thought he's been to 4.
I think he only lost the Buccaneers
only
once.
lost the Buccaneers.
That's right.
But I can see him winning 3 to 4
I
more
agree.
in his time as the Chiefs quarterback.
I've never seen anybody play quarterback like Patrick Mahomes
Right.
does.
I mean, he's a do-it-all quarterback. If you need a scramble on a 3rd and 15, he'll go get that 3rd and 15.
Nobody can tackle him either.
Absolutely. If you need a bomb that's 70 yards down the field, he'll chuck it down there. Tyreek down there somewhere. The meme that was created because of Patrick Mahomes. So that's my pick. I'm going Patty Mahomes at the 2 pick.
Well, since y'all got your quarterbacks out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and take the best tight end of all time, Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, he can wait, man. He can wait. I know. Go ahead.
I think like Kelsey, like
I mean,
do you think it's without a shadow of a doubt it's Gronk?
It's been Gronk. It's been
Okay.
Gronk for years. I mean, we roasted Jonah for it, but the blocking was always there.
Oh my gosh! Don't talk
No,
to Jonah Morgan about tight end run blocking. We do not care about run blocking,
I'm not
man.
watching that during the game.
No.
Okay, so what he said on the show was he would put George Kittle on the Chiefs, and it would be the same value, or even better, because George Kittle can run block. And I said,
No.
you think Patrick Mahomes is going to look at George Kittle and say, that's an upgrade because he can run block? No, Mahomes is going to chuck it 45 to 50 times a game.
Taylor Swift isn't in the suite looking to see how Travis Kelce is run blocking.
You are exactly right, my brother.
You're speaking. No,
But Gronk is the pick, I would say.
Gronk is the 1-1 at the tight end position for me because there are some statistical values that back up for why his team didn't win a Super Bowl or didn't make it to a Super Bowl
he was
because he was hurt.
He's spitting facts over here. He's
And
spitting.
because, I mean, if you got that much value, I want some cornerstone like that on my team.
Absolutely.
You know? So I'm going to take him, and then I'm going to follow up with Jerry Rice, the best receiver of all time.
Hey, you got two GOATs right there in their respective positions.
And so, you know, if we're going for points here, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the dream team right
Absolutely. That's a great pick on the snake right there. So it's back to me. And I'm trying to figure out, do I want to go get a receiver? Do I want to go get Kelce? Do I want to go get a stud running back? Or can I just play any running back? It'll be good in the system. I think I want the second best wide receiver of all time. Give me Randy Moss
There you go.
from Marshall University. Absolute stud. The dude was a do-it-all speed demon, could jump out of the gym. Well, he has the phrase "moss you" for a reason. And so, I also just love Randy Moss because he's so country for who he is. Like, he has the most southern accent of all time from West Virginia. Is that where he's from?
Absolutely.
And so, Randy Moss, that's my pick.
I agree. He's so fun to watch.
Absolutely.
You got the mooning. I'm a Packers fan, but the
Right.
mooning the fans.
Hey, straight cash, homie.
straight.
How you gonna-
paying fines with?
How you gonna pay
straight
that
cash?
fine? Straight cash, homie.
You
So
bitch, you don't write checks.
So, hey, imagine Mahomes and Randy Moss on the field together, man.
That is scary.
That's scary. So scary. So, Randy Moss, that's my pick as my number one receiver.
Great pick, Jack. As Hunter pointed out, he believes Rob Gronkowski is the best tight end of all time. I'm going to do a favor for all the Swifties listening to the show. I'm going to go ahead and draft Travis Kelce at my tight end. So, Tom Brady always had a good tight end.
Absolutely.
I think he's going to know how to get the ball to Travis Kelce.
He's going to figure it out.
I think he's going to figure that out. To come back around for my snake pick, y'all have already drafted the top two wide receivers on my board. So I feel like y'all might go away for a little bit, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on receiver for a second. I'm going to go get the most dynamic running back that's ever played the game, Barry Sanders.
Good pick.
I know his career was short-lived. But I don't think anybody has broken more ankles on a football field than Barry Sanders did.
Absolutely.
Those linebackers were in a world of hurt when they had to come down to make a tackle one-on-one with him.
Absolutely.
And so
Great pick, man.
I love how this offense is setting up, and he can catch the ball too.
Hey, listen, he would be a PPR demon
He
in
can
today's
catch the ball too.
fantasy.
We all know that Tom Brady loves to feed the running backs. Just look at what James White did for him for a few years.
Hey, I mean, Barry Sanders would be the consensus 1-1 pick in every fantasy draft for his prime as a Detroit Lion.
Absolutely, Jack.
If you have the number one pick in fantasy, you don't even question it's Barry Sanders.
And as a fantasy football fan, I grade everybody's ability based on what they produce in fantasy.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if he's going to be a high pick in fantasy, I just want him on my team.
Absolutely. So with my pick, I'm more so picking the prime of this player because you look at this player and the teams that he played on, he should not. He picked two. He went Kelce and Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
So the teams that this guy played on should have never, ever made the playoffs, but they sometimes did with this guy. And that just shows you how dominant this guy had to stretch in the years that he was amazing. It's a running back. It's going to be Adrian Peterson. The dude was a stud for that time period. Again, I'm picking the prime
Not on
Adrian
my
Peterson.
list.
And it's because of this guy that I've watched.
Oh, I
I
get-
physically have watched him. Pass catcher, the dude. I forgot the number of rushing yards he had in that one season.
PPR guy?
Check the stats, brother. Check the stats. Check the stats. His quarterback was Christian Ponder for most of those years. So the dude, I mean, he won MVP. I mean, not many running backs of all time have won MVP.
Right.
So I'm picking prime Adrian Peterson as my running back.
Okay.
Good pick,
All right.
Jack.
I'm actually gonna do the same thing, kind of wait on the running back, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my quarterback, and I'm just gonna take Joe Montana.
Nice
I
pick.
think that's a great pick right here. And then, you know.
Hey, you
there's
got
not
the
a lot-
Jerry Rice Montana connection.
That's true.
With a
So, I
Gronk.
mean, and the chemistry's already there, man.
Exactly. So,
Imagine
you know,
fantasy points.
Oh my
doubling up
goodness,
there.
double up in fantasy right there.
Crazy.
Hey, you know what's
Do
crazy?
that.
You know what's crazy is while I'm thinking of this, and like all of our teams, I'm like, I think my fantasy team would actually dominate yours. Like,
oh my God.
Is it bad that we think in fantasy terms instead of football terms? Is that
when,
bad?
when I
All
think
the
of the
time.
NFL, the first thing I think of is what it did on the fantasy.
Absolutely. So you went Joe Montana, and who you
Yep,
go next?
Yep. Okay, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and take defense. It's one of the defensive players that were on my board. I gotta go look him up because, you know, well, it is Lawrence Taylor.
Good pick,
I'm taking
Great
Lawrence
pick.
Taylor.
dude.
I
I'd have been scared of that dude.
you just want a knockout linebacker like him. I mean,
Right.
that's who you're going for.
The blind side literally starts with a Lawrence Taylor
The
hit,
Lawrence
right?
Taylor hit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, the dude was cracked out of his mind.
hey, you know, I'm about that action.
That's funny, man. Good pick there. So, I've got Mahomes. I've got Peterson. I've got Randy Moss. Y'all pick the two stud tight ends, so I'm gonna that's probably be my last pick. If I want another receiver, I'm thinking, you know, I've got Randy Moss. I want a speed demon, and again, this might be a stretch to pick him, but he's already got the chemistry with Mahomes. I'm going Tyreek Hill.
Whoa!
I'm going with the fastest. I'll say it. He's the fastest player in NFL history.
He's the fastest man alive.
Fastest man alive. And just think about a crossing route of Randy Moss going that way and Tyreek going this way. What are the DBs and safeties
Good
going to
luck,
do?
safety.
Good luck,
Yeah.
safeties. Mahomes is going to throw for 500 yards a week. So it doesn't really even matter who my tight end is because I've got Randy Moss and I've got Tyreek Hill on the edges, and they're going to cook every DB they see. So I'm going Tyreek Hill. I don't care if it's a stretch.
Great pick, Jack. I am gonna go get my wide receivers now. I've got the
You going
two-
back to back here?
I got the two picks here because I'm waiting on a defense.
Right.
Waiting on a defense. I'm gonna stay true to that theory. So I'm gonna go draft. It's kind of funny that the Packers are playing the Lions tonight, and I'm about to draft a second Lions player.
Wow.
But I'm going Calvin Megatron Johnson.
Good pick, man.
I'm going Calvin Johnson. I remember, like, for some reason, that 2007 draft was, like, the first NFL draft that I remember, and I remember seeing highlights of him when he got drafted and what he did at the Combine. I was just like, dude's a freak.
Right.
And, again, another guy that ended his career pretty early, just like Barry Sanders did, but his prime, his dominance and what he did on the field, just unbelievable. Had a 200-yard game thrown in there somewhere. And ultimately, I think he is a guy that.
Oh, this is going to be just a YouTube episode.
What just
I
happened?
think I saw Cole Houston call you and it stopped the episode.
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No,
It's okay. We'll just do a YouTube episode.
He's begging you for a trade.
That's so
what it is.
sad.
He's begging you for a
It's
trade.
okay. It's okay. We'll just
I'm
do
sorry, Jack.
It's all good. I mean, you were on Do Not Disturb. I don't know how
I don't know how
went
that came through because we got 38 minutes on the camera.
It's okay. It's all
Good
good.
catch.
It's all good.
It's all
Good
good.
catch.
I saw the yellow thing wasn't popping up here
Yeah.
anymore. But hey, we'll just do a YouTube episode for the final one. So it's all good.
All right. Got me a little flustered there.
My fault, my
but
fault.
we're gonna go back and draft a second wide receiver. And this is I'm just gonna call it straight up homer pick. But to me, in my eyes, there's not a better overall receiver as far as like his release on the line of scrimmage, how he can go up and catch any ball, and like what he does after the catch. Devontae Adams.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
I knew you.
That's a good pick.
Devontae Adams.
When you said Homer, I was like, there's no way he's about to pick Jordy Nelson, is
No,
he?
that would have been awesome.
That would have been wild.
That would have been awesome. But no, I'm going to take Devontae to pair him on the other side of Calvin Johnson. So I like my team so far. I've got Brady, I've got Kelsey, I've got Barry Sanders, and then I've got my two wide receivers in Megatron and Devontae Adams.
Good picks. Good picks. I'm going to start on the defensive train. Actually, no, you already picked one. Just kidding. I'm going to start on the DB train.
There you go.
Have you drafted all your offense?
I'm going to wait on the tight end since y'all have already got yours. So that's probably going to be my last pick. When I think of a DB, and I'm thinking, who is usually in the spotlight for all-time best
Oh,
DBs?
no. Oh,
and it's a
come
guy
on, man.
that's still in the spotlight today. Give me prime time, baby. Give me Deion Sanders as my DB. The dude, I don't care what he's doing off the field. If you're producing on the field, you can do whatever the heck you want, Deion.
You're out here taking all my picks, man.
And so if I'm thinking of DB, I'm wanting primetime Deion Sanders. That's
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't pick him or you don't pick him, I want a story about another DB that I was thinking about. So,
Right,
but you go ahead.
That's the right pick.
That is
right
that's
there.
the right
was
DB.
exactly who I was going for. Next.
My backup is if y'all guys picked Dion, there's a guy that I wanted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll be keep quiet though.
You know, I'm gonna finish out the wide receiver, and then on the snake, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna take another defensive player.
Okay.
So my wide receiver that I was gonna pick was gonna be Calvin Johnson, but he obviously didn't make it that far. And so when I'm thinking of who else is on the board, because I've already got. His name is
Jerry Rice.
I've already got Jerry Rice. So I'm looking at another guy, kind of a different skill set. And this is kind of last minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with. Why is he leaving me?
What team?
I'm totally blanking.
You have him written down anywhere.
I don't have him written down. I had him in my.
What era did he play for?
Oh, it was like early 2000s. No, you know what?
Larry Fitzgerald.
You know what? We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take the DB. I'm gonna take
Terrell
Richard
Owens.
Sherman.
Okay, he went Richard Sherman. Okay.
All right, he's.
That's
I wanted to take him away from you.
He's my lockdown.
Right,
right. He's the
Hey,
guy
you want to
that's
know a
gonna be
secret?
chirping.
We don't need the microphones anymore if we're doing
It feels cooler.
This
Let's
feels
just keep
better.
going. It feels cooler.
It feels better. Though.
Yeah, it does.
Also, I'll just see if I can still make this an audio and get it on the Apple Podcast. We'll see what I can do.
Okay.
I'll cook something up.
But yeah, I'm gonna have Richard Sherman locked down for 2 years, most dominant era of defensive football ever, the Legion of Boom.
Can you call an era 2 years?
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes, that counts.
My era.
If you
It's
get a
my
Super
era.
Bowl, it counts as an era.
Absolutely. Fair enough.
And so best defense, But I'm gonna go ahead and finish out, and I'm gonna take Aaron Donald at the D line. I mean,
Good pick, man.
Who else is getting triple teamed?
That's true.
Nobody else right now.
That's
so,
true.
So I'm gonna finish out with a very strong defense, and whenever we come back around,
You'll think of that receiver.
I'll think of my receiver.
All right, so my pick is a guy. It's a linebacker that instilled fear in everybody that he played against. One of the most intimidating presence in the NFL. Might have had a scandal outside of the NFL. We're not going to talk about the scandal outside of the NFL, but one of the best linebackers of all time is going to be Ray Lewis.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't care what he did off field. Like I said, with primetime, I don't care that allegedly might have killed somebody. If you're producing on the field, I don't care.
You all should be ashamed as GMs.
Hey, listen, team morale on an imaginary team is out the window for me.
I believe in high character guys.
There you go.
But listen, if I'm talking about a guy that as a running back or as a receiver coming across the middle, if I see Ray Lewis there, I'm crapping my pants. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm going Ray Lewis as my linebacker.
Greatest field intro of all time, possibly.
Oh.
Where he does the little stunt.
Right, absolutely.
Then he does the chest pop.
Yeah, and he had the nice face paint. He had the intimidating face mask too. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He's the only guy.
And retired with a Super Bowl. He
He's-
retired. His
went
last
out
game
on
was the
top,
Super
man.
Bowl.
Exactly.
It's cool.
Okay, so it's time for me to start drafting some defense. I'm going to go ahead and get my defensive lineman, another former Packers player, Reggie White.
Good pick.
Actually, when we visited Lambeau Field, Jackson, there's a Packers Hall of Fame, and there is written down the #1 workout plan for Reggie White. I took a picture of it, and I've tried it a couple times. I still don't look like Reggie White, but I think it worked out pretty well for him.
Right.
You're getting there.
Was he the one that was undrafted, or was that John Randall?
I don't know. That's a good
One of
that's
those
a good
two.
question.
One of those two D linemen.
I think you're right. He might have been undrafted. He's a small guy.
What are you saying in there, Dad?
He was a stud at Tennessee.
Reggie White
Was
a stud
John
at
Randall
Tennessee.
the undrafted?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, sorry.
Coming from all angles tonight.
Right.
Guys. But I'm going to go draft a cornerback now.
Okay.
I was really wanting to put it to Hunter, knowing his Seahawks roots. I wanted to go ahead and take Sherman, who's the best defender in the game. Don't come at me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree.
Who Crabtree, brother?
But I'm going to go ahead and take Charles Woodson.
Good pick.
So I'm just loading up on Packers right now.
Hey, the
a lot of
bias
people-
will show.
A lot of people won't remember Charles Woodson as a Packer, but he did win a Super Bowl with them. But one of the greatest cover corners of all time.
Absolutely.
Just the heart and soul of any defense that he was in. So, and a former Heisman winner.
I believe so.
Charles Woodson won the Heisman, stole it away from Peyton Manning.
I believe so. So the DB that I was talking about was a safety, Brian Dawkins, and the thing I wanted to bring up was there's this interview with Takeo Spikes saying him and Brian Dawkins were talking before a game. And they're talking about some receiver, and Brian Dawkins goes, "I'm gonna take his soul."
That's
And
terrifying.
And Takeo goes, "What'd you say?" He goes, I'm going to take his soul. He's going to know who Brian Dawkins is after this game. And I'm just like, that gives me chills, man. So that's just a story I had to add in here.
Are you taking Brian Dawkins?
No, I mean, I've already got my DB.
Okay.
I had to go prime time because that's the best DB of all time.
Yeah.
But D lineman, I'm actually going to go for a guy that is in our era. I don't really know D lineman outside of the era that I grew up on.
Exactly.
And the best one of my era besides Aaron Donald, I'd say the second best would be J.J. Watt. The dude was an absolute monster on the line. Also caught some touchdown passes.
This is true.
So we could call him a slash tight end for J.J. Watt. One of the most intimidating presences in the 2010 era of football. So I'm going J.J. Watt as my D lineman.
There you go. Is this the last two?
You're going
picks here?
two more. I've got one more. And then are you done?
No.
He's got one more.
You got one more. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is your last two.
All right. Well, let's get the wide receiver out of the way.
Did you remember him?
Yeah, it's Terrell Owens.
Okay, yeah, you said T.O.
Yeah, I
I
said T.O.
forget about T.O. I mean, I don't. It beats me, but we're gonna get the hype man up next. The guy that I always
Get your popcorn ready.
love talking about. His favorite snack is Skittles and his favorite drink is Hennessy. Taking these-
Oh, he's taking Marshawn.
I'm taking
That is a
Marshawn.
homer pick if I've ever
I am
seen one.
taking Marshawn Lynch at the running back position. Has the most famous run of all time, the Beastquake. Two Beastquakes actually, but so I'm gonna finish out, round out, come back to my roots, come back to my home of Marshawn
Like
Lynch
that.
Hey.
and Richard Sherman.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Exactly.
Is he the most interesting player in NFL history? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, from like the way that his brain operates compared
Right.
to most professional
it's
athletes.
it's so in left field.
It really is. I mean, because you go back to college and he's driving on the field. I know y'all seen that clip.
Right.
He's at Cal and he's driving on there with a golf cart,
Yep.
like basically running over cheerleaders and stuff like that.
Right.
So, dude, if there was anybody that ever bobbed to the beat of their own drum,
It would be
it
Marshawn
would be
Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
All right, so my last pick is going to be my tight end. It's a guy that we see every day in the news, and we might not agree with his opinions, but Uncle Shannon was a pretty good tight
There
end.
you go.
Mr. Shannon Sharp. Uncle Shannon. Hey, don't talk bad about his Lakers though. Hey, Dylan Brooks about got messed up that night in the Staples Center. So I'm going Uncle Shannon as my tight end pass catcher to round out my team. So since you already finished your
I
team
finished
too.
out
So
my
we'll
team.
let you pick and then we'll all say our roster. So you go ahead with your last
I
pick.
think I might get confused if we go through the whole.
I think
roster.
I've got it in the
you got
dome.
it in the dome.
Maybe.
Are we drafting safeties?
Yeah, that's DB.
Okay, so I've got my cornerback. I'm gonna draft one safety, and then I haven't drafted a linebacker. I drafted a defensive end.
We can move that safety to the linebacker. Sometimes they play linebacker.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get Ev Reed
Good pick.
to play safety for me.
Yeah.
My favorite clip of all time is when he's in the locker room at Miami and he says, "I'm hurt, dog.
Don't ask me.
Don't
I'm
ask
hurt."
me if I'm all right." Joaquin say dominate, and we not doing it.
Right.
That is like if you ever need to get hype, just go type in Ed Reed speech at Miami. I'm sure that'll come up. And then my linebacker, I'm gonna go ahead and take James Harrison.
Yeah.
99-yard,
One of the most
100-yard.
One of the most iconic Super
plays
Bowl
in
moments of
Super
all
Bowl
time.
history.
Right.
Runs it all the way back. And have y'all guys seen his workout videos
Dude's
and
a
everything
monster.
like that? I think he lifts harder now that he's retired from
Right.
the NFL than he did when he was in the NFL. That'll round out my roster. Do you want me to start at the top?
If you got it off the dome,
All right,
go for
so
it.
I got Tom Brady. I've got Barry Sanders. My two wide receivers are Devontae Adams and Calvin Johnson. I got Travis Kelce at tight end. D end, I went Reggie White. Linebacker, I went James Harrison. Cornerback, I went Charles Woodson. And safety, I got Ed Reed.
It's a good team.
So I went Mahomes.
luck, boys.
It's a good team.
I went Mahomes. I went Adrian Peterson. I went Randy Moss. I went Tyreek Hill. I went Uncle Shannon. I went Deion. Carson, you picked one more player than us.
Yeah, I know, because I had my linebacker.
Oh, okay, then let me have Brian Dawkins then.
Okay.
You want a safety?
Just give me Bam Bam.
Okay, you'll get Cam
I'll
Chancellor.
take Bam.
So,
I'll just
okay.
take Bam.
So, Uncle Shannon, and then I went Primetime, and then I want Brian Dawkins as my safety. I want Ray Lewis as my linebacker, and I want J.J. Watt as my D lineman.
There you go.
There we go.
All right. Off the top here, off the dome, I'm just kidding. I wrote it down.
I was going to
I
say,
can't
we're going to...
I got Joe Montana at quarterback, Marshawn Lynch at running back, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Rob Gronkowski, and then on the defensive side at D-line, I got Aaron Donald, Lawrence Taylor at that linebacker position, Richard Sherman at the cornerback, and Bam Bam Cam Chancellor at the safety.
He brought the
position.
Legion of Boom out of
Hey,
retirement.
he had to bring. Where's Earl
I had
Thomas
to.
at, man?
Man, if he didn't flip me off, we'd be okay. We'd be all right. We'd be
So
on
there
good
we
terms.
have it. That's our second draft of this mega episode, the last Man2Man podcast. Hunter, appreciate you coming on the episode,
no
sir.
problem.
Hunter, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate
Had a
it. Again, this will now. I'm gonna try to get an Apple podcast, but as for now, this will be just a YouTube video. So we got one more
Got
draft.
one more guest.
One more draft. So let's get our father in here, Ed Chapman. Get your butt in here for his. Is this his third appearance on the Man2Man podcast?
Yeah, I think he is the leader in the clubhouse.
He is the leader with the most
man-to-man
guest appearances on the Man2Man podcast. Oh yeah, and he's got his Cardinal shirt on.
Okay.
Oh, and he's got the yellow legal pad out. He's ready to go.
How are we ever going to keep track of who picked who?
That's true.
Especially with the 50-year-old man right here.
Hey, I think he's got a pretty sharp memory over there.
So introduce yourself, sir.
I'm your dad and his dad.
Does he need any introduction?
No, yeah, he's been on the
at this
show.
point.
He's been on the show.
At this point.
Okay, so-
Dad, before we get going, I know we're going to talk to you about baseball, but I do want to talk to you about your Detroit Lions, who are about to take on my Green Bay Packers here in just about an hour. How are you feeling about the season early on, and what do you think about your chances tonight?
Well, I mean, obviously, on the road divisional game at Lambeau at night, it's going to be tough.
Not an inviting-
I give you guys a lot of respect. But these are not the same old Detroit Lions. And that'll actually be proven true already by the time this airs, because there's a decent chance that the Lions will move to 2-1 tonight with their win on the road.
3-1.
This is
Or
week
3-1.
4. Yeah,
This is
there we
week
go.
4.
There we
You
go.
know what I meant.
Right.
But solid start to the season.
I think it's awesome that now you have the Lions, Jackson has the Vikings, and I have always had the Packers, that we have this little in-house division rivalry going on, and we get nights like tonight where we get to come and do a podcast and then
Watch some football.
together.
All right, so I have not had the first pick yet in a draft. So do I get the first pick?
Be my guest.
So as the elderly in the house, I'm just kidding.
Elder.
I'm just picking on you. So you've had the third pick and the first pick. So you'll go 2. We'll give Dad the 3 pick, and you'll get through the snake.
Yeah.
How about youngest to oldest, Jack?
Yeah, we'll go youngest to oldest. That's
There
what
we
we'll do. So we are doing 2000s and now MLB all time, not all time, but 2000s to now MLB draft, because me and Dad were talking about it. We didn't watch Ted Williams play baseball. We didn't watch any of these guys in the 60s and the early 1900s
See
play
Honus
baseball.
Wagner's baseball card.
And that's about all you know
That's about
about
all
Honus
I
Wagner.
know.
So Dad and we decided let's do 2000s to now in terms of drafting. We're going to go a starting lineup of catcher through right field, and then we're going to pick one starting pitcher
And a relief pitcher.
and a relief pitcher. Yes.
And a
that's-
DH.
Oh,
right?
yeah, and we got to go DH.
I'll
that's
throw
a
DH in.
position.
Yeah, it's
That's
now.
a
position.
Yeah.
So with my first pick, I got to pick the best player that's played in my era of watching baseball. And plain and simple, one of the best outfielders of all time, one of the best center fielders of all time. I got to go Mike Trout as the number 1 pick here of the 2000s MLB draft between the Chapman family.
I kind of was surprised there, Jack. I've always been the Trout guy. Do you feel like he's the best player of these last 20 to 25 years?
I would say so. At least the best outfielder. And so you just couldn't go wrong.
And we
with-
agree that outfield is kind of weak. in
Right.
this
You know,
when you
we
narrow it
looked at
down.
this list, and, if with a weaker position in this era that we picked, I got to get the best available if I got the number 1 pick.
Okay.
And so I'm going Michael Nelson Trout.
Why
Right.
don't we just go by position?
Well, see, that's what is so crucial here, Dad, is that you have to be strategic.
You got to strategically
Okay.
play it out.
about where you draft your guys based on positional value.
Fair enough.
So, with that being said, I'm going to go with my first favorite player of all time. He betrayed me when I was 10 years old. And he made a comeback to home.
He made up for it, I would
He
say.
made a comeback. The farewell tour for Albert Pujols last year was really something to truly be just remembered by in St. Louis. And so I'm going to take the best first baseman of this generation, Albert Pujols. Got to 700 home runs, multiple-time MVP, and brought 2 World Series to St. Louis. Thank you, Albert.
Thank you, Albert. So, Dad, you're back-to-back here in the snake. Who you going with?
All right. Well, if I were going to build a team around pitching, if I were going to,
Okay.
I would love to include Greg Maddux, but the 2000s Greg Maddux, though very good, was not peak Greg Maddux.
Okay.
Four consecutive Cy Youngs in the mid 90s.
Doesn't cut it though. He doesn't make the
So
list.
I'm gonna leave Maddux off.
Okay.
Okay. And because it is such a difficult decision as far as who your top pitcher will be, I think it might be, although we only have to pick 3 between.
That is true.
I'm going to reach in, or maybe not too much of a reach. I've got to decide between a couple of holdovers from the 90s, though, and that's between Pedro Martinez.
Don't spill all your cards.
Yeah, and Randy Johnson.
Mm.
So I will take Pedro.
Good pick.
I will take
Pedro's
Pedro
a stud.
Martinez as my pitcher. And then with my next pick, I will take the best hitter of the last half century. Everything else aside, Barry Lamar Bonds will be my
Wow.
left fielder.
That's the pick.
I was down to Albert and Barry.
Right.
I was down to Albert and Barry.
Good pick
You
there.
threw in the middle name, Dad?
Yeah.
Well, I threw in Michael Nelson Trout. Why did you not know Albert's middle
I'm
name?
sorry. I
Come
don't
on
know
now.
Albert's middle name.
All right. So Dad already went pitcher. I think I'm kind of also leaning towards pitcher. But I'm not a pitcher guy. In fact, I'm a guy that loves watching great offense while also somewhat good defense, a little bit of overrated defender, but made the highlight plays. And when we're thinking shortstops of this era, the King of New York, you got to go Derek Jeter as the King of New York, as one of the best shortstops of all time. 3,000 hit club member, I believe. I think if I remember that right. And made all the flashy plays. Maybe wasn't the most sound defensive shortstop, but man, the jump throw, he revolutionized the jump throw. So I got to go Derek Jeter as my shortstop.
Hey, Jack.
You think that's a reach?
A little bit. When I'm thinking about offensive, productivity. Like I said,
That's my leadoff hitter. That's the guy that's going to get on base for me. He's going to hit
Fair
about
enough.
305 to 310. That's going to be my
yeah,
guy.
he racked up all the hits. I just thought you might look for somebody that would do a little bit more damage. That's all I'll say.
I got you.
That's all I'll say. Okay, so I'm coming back around for 2 picks here.
Yes, you're back to back.
All right. Well, I'm
Wait,
gonna go.
no, I'm back to back. I'm the first pick. You're the second pick.
That's right.
Sorry,
That's right. Yeah, birth
sorry.
order here.
I've been second pick both times.
Sorry, we're not going.
Right. So I'm this. Well, now I got to think. Actually, not really. I'll just pick his teammate. Give me A-Rod at third base.
Man.
Well, then shouldn't it have gone back to Carson after me?
No.
Yes, it should have.
Why?
Because
Because you're the second pick.
Whoa, we are.
So you didn't want Jeter anyway. So who
Did
do
you want
want
Jeter or A-Rod?
I wanted A-Rod.
Okay, you can have
Can I
A-Rod.
have A-Rod?
You got
Yeah.
A-Rod.
Where's he playing?
Third base.
Short
He's
of third.
He's
playing
Okay,
third.
so I'll go Jeter. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you're right, Dad.
So Jeter is my shortstop. I got Trout in center. I'll take another third baseman, even though most of his later half of his career has been at first base. But this guy started out as a third baseman. It's one of the best hitters, pure hitters of all time. Give me Miguel Cabrera at third base.
Big guy.
Triple Crown winner in his prime in Detroit. Dude was a stud. Now, in his later half of the career, he's lost a little bit of that pop. But, man, was he a fun hitter to watch when he was in his prime. And so I'm going Miggy. I'll play him at third base. I don't really care about defense anymore.
Obviously.
I got Jeter. He'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna
just,
say,
Just
but-
shade Jeter towards the 6 hole there.
Right. All I
I
need,
don't think Jeter solves that problem.
listen,
but
I need,
go ahead.
Right. I just need Miggy to get the line and a little bit to his left. That's all I need.
Hey, 1 step and a dive, right?
Right, that's all I
One
need.
step and a dive. Okay, so I've got Albert and I've got A-Rod so far. So I've got my corners taken care of. Now I'm going to go take possibly who I think is the greatest pitcher of this era. Dad said he wasn't going to take Maddux. Maddux is on my list, but he has quite, literally laid out how dominant he was in the 90s and it didn't necessarily carry over. Still very good.
Yes.
And somebody that I love to model my pitching after with the changeup and everything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and take the guy who just totally rocked everybody's world with his curveball, and that's Clayton Kershaw.
Good pick, man.
The
pick.
12-6 curveball from Clayton Kershaw is truly something that has been a weapon for him all these years. Multiple time Cy Young Award winner. Even has he won 2 MVPs?
Probably.
I know it's at least one
I think
MVP, which we know is hard to do as a pitcher to
Right.
be that dominant. Just a great guy. I love Clayton Kershaw, so he's gonna nail down my staff.
All right, so then Dad is back to back, and then it's you. Then it's back to back
Yeah,
to me.
there we
We
go.
got it now. We got it.
Because I've been waiting a while. Because you guys have 3 players each, and I just have 2 so far.
Okay.
All right. So now it starts to get a little bit more interesting, to say the least. Trying to pick your value positions and where you can get somebody. I'm going to go to second base before all the top guys from second base get gone. And got a couple of guys to choose from, but I'm going to pick one that I don't know if he'll ever get big momentum for the Hall of Fame, but he should. He was just a quiet guy that just produced repeatedly and was really good offensively and defensively. And so I think there's a lot of value in Chase Utley at
Good
second
pick.
base.
That was my pick at second base. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, I mean,
Great
obviously
pick.
there's some other guys.
When you said offensively and defensively, I rolled out Jeff Kent.
Exactly.
I rolled out Jeff Kent there for the lack of defense, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah, unfortunately, I mean, Kent probably still belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Right.
But, understand his limitations, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go, I've been to the outfield once already, and I'm tempted to go again because you got to get while the getting's good in the outfield too.
Right.
Some of these guys will probably might have to flip positions a little bit because left field's a little thin, center field's a little thin overall, right field's got a little bit more to choose from. And so I'm going to do what you wouldn't expect me to do. I'm going to take the young guy, Ronald Acuna Jr.
Wow.
On my list.
Good pick, though. I mean,
And
MVP this year. I mean,
There's
wow.
some great guys to have to turn down, but that have already done it. But the way I see his career headed,
He's gonna be doing it for a while.
I'll take him now.
Good pick.
Okay, so like Dad said, the outfield is kind of getting a little thin. So I'm gonna go ahead and draft my left fielder. I'm just looking for bombs at this point. Manny Ramirez.
Yeah.
Manny being Manny in the outfield, I think he's just going to provide a lot of entertainment for my team on and off the field.
Yeah.
But there's no question that dude produced.
That's tough. That was also my pick.
Part of the 04 Red Sox World Series winning team, and on the 07 team as well, I believe. We actually got to see his first game with the Dodgers.
That is true. When he was like,
St.
what,
Louis.
38,
Oh,
39
yeah,
years old?
he was old, and he was number 99, I remember.
Time out. Didn't we get to see him with the Isotopes as well against the Memphis Redbirds?
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So
When
we've
he
seen
was-
Manny twice.
We got to see Manny twice.
So
That's
pretty
kinda
cool. I got Manny in left field for me.
So now it's back to me, correct? And I
Yeah,
got back
you
to back.
two.
Right.
Let's go both pitching here. Why not? Give me the best closer, arguably of all time. Give me Mariano Rivera,
There you go.
the Sandman, and give me one of the best pitchers of this time era. Give me Max Scherzer. I mean, the pitching there speaks for himself. I'm hoping if I have Max, so I'm thinking if I need to win one game, these are the guys that I want. I'm hoping Max can get me 7 to 8 quality innings, and then Mo, we're shutting the door of Mo. And if Mo needs to go 2 innings, he can go 2 innings. Just give me 7, Max, at least 7.
Jack, I'm glad you brought that up because I saw this clip this week. I don't know if y'all saw it on Twitter. There was a pitching matchup in 2008 that was supposed to be Greg Maddux and Randy Johnson. It was the Dodgers versus the D-backs. And then those two guys pitched the night before. The night after, it ended up being Clayton Kershaw versus Max Scherzer.
The young studs who turned
in
out to
LA.
be amazing.
And the fans think that, they come to this game, we got the 2 rookies going, and they're not as excited as seeing the 2 Hall of Famers
Right.
the night before. Turned out pretty good for those
Yeah,
guys.
they turned out to be pretty solid. So my back-to-back is going to be Mo, and it's going to be Max Scherzer. So now it's back to you, Carson.
All right. I know Dad said that this guy probably was more dominant in the 90s, but I'm going to go ahead and take him just because I think he has the prettiest swing in baseball history. Ken Griffey Jr. is going to play center field for me.
He played in the 2000s.
2000, like the early 2000s. He was with the Reds by the time 07 rolled around.
Right.
But that I'm gonna go like Hunter did. The 2-year window for the Legion of Boom. I'm gonna take the early
2-year
2000s.
window to the early 2000s.
Go ahead, Dad. Tell me what I don't know.
Well, he's not catching very many fly balls at this point.
He might need to borrow a hamstring
That's
or
right.
two.
That's right. The 2000 Ken Griffey left all of his knee cartilage on the team down back in Seattle. But hey, I mean, I get it. He, a lot of what he did and the charisma that he had carried over to your generation, at least getting to see him in clips and highlights. So
The swingman shoes
Absolutely.
that I got.
yeah.
I mean, it's the best swing of all time, and it's so pretty.
So now again, we're trying to chase value while it's out there, and another position that really leaves us. Well, if you're not going to play A-Rod at short, which Carson said he drafted him at third, and that makes sense. But
I might have.
but you may have to make
myself.
a position change, right? Shortstop position's a little thin.
It is very thin.
That's why you clowning my Derek Jeter pick, man.
I mean, we could talk a lot of different guys, and I don't know how many ideas I want to give away, but Corey Seager's a guy that
Stud.
actually can't be ignored at this point.
Right.
And I won't go there. I'm instead going to go with Miguel Tejada.
The prime.
Great call.
Miguel
Prime Miguel
Tejada,
Tejada.
often forgotten.
Why does he not get recognized in Moneyball?
Because it wouldn't be cool. They're supposed to be the underdogs.
Was he the MVP that year?
He was like the best player in the league that year. They don't mention him in Moneyball.
You can't talk about Tim Hudson, Barry Zito, and Mark Mulder.
Arguably the
being
greatest rotation of
three
that
great
year.
young arms, and then an MVP level shortstop. So
You're going to talk more about the backup first baseman, Scott Hattenberg.
hey, that's why movies are movies.
That is true.
But my other pick will nail down the pitching position, and I will go get my closer and another guy who hopefully will be a Hall of Famer someday. Again, I wonder sometimes how much momentum he'll get, but he certainly belongs, and that is the little left-hander, Billy Wagner.
Wow, good call, Dad.
Billy Wagner, incredible numbers and incredible durability for a guy. Most of the time a pitcher 5'11", they worry about their durability, but
He played for a while.
he had the beautiful short arm delivery after learning how to throw left-handed part of the way through his teenage years.
Of course, Dad would know.
Yeah,
this.
well,
Yeah.
so
Of course he would.
I'll take Billy Wagner.
Awesome. All right. Well, I am going to go nail down the catcher position because I don't think any of us had drafted a catcher yet,
We
right?
had not,
No.
no.
And there's not an easier pick in the 2000s era than Yadier Molina.
There it is.
Yadier Molina, pair him up with Albert Pujols being at first base. Jeremy's nodding over there. I know
The
I got
chemistry's there.
Jeremy's
The chemistry's
approval.
there. The chemistry's there.
Yeah, you've got Mo and Derek Jeter.
Right.
I'm going to take Yadi and Albert. And then I'm going to go get my closer as well.
You're not back to back, sir.
Yeah, you don't get back-to-backs.
That's true.
He's still struggling with this
This
draft
is
order
me.
over here. All right, so I'm also going to go get a good value catcher. His prime when he was with his team was, he was with his team for his whole career, but man, he was really good in this era. Won 3 World Series, I believe.
Yeah.
And they would flip-flop. They win a World Series, not win the World Series. Win the World Series, not win the World Series. I'm going with the second best of this era. Some people will argue that he was the best of this era, but I'm going Buster Posey as my catcher. All-around stud, could hit bombs, could hit doubles, and also one of the best defensive catchers of all time.
MVP.
Won an MVP, and again, 3-time World Series winner, so you can't ignore that. And if I got to go, I'm going to go left fielder now. One of the coolest swings of all time. A guy that hit for a ton of power, played for multiple different teams, speed demon as well. I'm going to Alfonso Soriano.
Wow.
As my left fielder, stud left fielder. Could also play a little bit of infield in his later, or it might have been in his early years. I can't remember. It was in his earlier years if he was playing second base, but most well known for his time in the outfield. And was great everywhere he played. Nationals, Cubs, and Yankees. Was awesome at all those.
Did he have the best year with the Cubs? That Cubs year in like 06 or 07, wasn't that right, Dad?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
Okay, you
he
remember
had a
the
great year
90s
with the
better.
Nationals too. But
Okay.
he was playing left field because he was so terrible at second base.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my fault.
And because they, for whatever reason, they didn't make him a full-time DH.
My fault.
Well,
Hey,
in the
hey,
National
listen,
League didn't have one.
Hey, listen. I'm going based off MLB The Show stats.
That's right.
And
Texas going off field
He did
and
have
vibes
numbers.
right
And
now.
listen, all I know is that MLB The Show, he's got great power, he's got great speed, he's got good fielding. So I'm thinking, he's a pretty good fielder.
There we go.
So I'm going back-to-back of Buster Posey, Alfonso Soriano.
Okay, so I can draft my relief pitcher now?
Yes, you can go now.
All right, for the Chapman namesake, our oldest Chapman.
Nice.
He's in
That's
this
Cuzzo.
Yeah, Dad convinced me at a young age that if he had the last name Chapman, it was spelled the same way.
It had to start somewhere.
Somewhere down the line, we're related. So I'm going to take that to my grave with me.
I am too.
That I have a pitcher that was MLB dominant material in my blood somewhere. So
Right.
I'm taking cousin Aroldis Chapman, even though he's from Cuba.
Right. We don't have the same body type. We don't have the same skin color. We don't throw the same way. But, man, that's Cuzzo right there.
Mhm.
You can't see the resemblance, but it's there.
That's right.
Hey, I mean, the truth of the matter is, this is no lie. There's a community in Graves County called Cuba, Kentucky.
Yes.
That's where he's from, actually.
And some of our Chapmans live there for a
Oh,
while.
okay. That's all I need.
So-
That's all I need.
We'll tie that all together.
Forget Ancestry.com.
Right.
That's right. Okay, so I'll go 2 picks here, and I'm going to grab the first designated hitter of the night.
Nice.
And since we're not testing for steroids in my clubhouse, because I've got Barry, I'm also going to have Big Poppy.
Okay.
Nice.
All right,
Good pick.
so you're going to have to deal with those 2 guys probably back to back in the lineup. And then from there, let's see. I'll need a center fielder, a third baseman, a first baseman, and a catcher.
I need a lefty. I'm looking at my team. We got all righties.
I'm gonna go.
I don't remember who I've drafted.
He's
I'm
Dad's got
gonna
you right
head
here.
back to. I'm gonna take Big Poppy, and then at third base I'll go Chipper Jones.
Good
Okay.
pick, man. Chipper was so good, man. And then I think that's the first switch hitter. Is that the first switch hitter?
That could be. I don't know. I haven't been analyzing.
That's the
it.
first
I'm
switch
good.
hitter. First switch hitter taken off the board.
As manager and owner / GM of the team, I'm going to make an executive decision to move A-Rod to shortstop.
Okay.
And with that, I'm going to draft Adrian Beltre to
Ooh,
play third base for me.
good pick.
So what I'm lacking
We're
at
leaving Arenado off.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Adrian,
go ahead.
I gotta take Beltre. I'm not drafting you unless your name's Yadier Molina. I'm not drafting you if you have less than 500 home runs, essentially. So that's kind of where my draft strategy is at.
It's a good pick there. All right, I'm missing a second, but I'm missing some guys. Let's think here. I need a lefty. And if we are putting past all of the suspensions this guy has had, all of the bad publicity this guy's had, one of the sweetest swings that me and Carson knew playing wiffle ball in the backyard was Robinson Cano. The dude had one of the prettiest swings, was a great defensive second baseman, as the first...
I know,
Oh my
right?
God, I am picking a lot of
Oh,
Yankees.
Yankees,
I gotta
man.
stop. I gotta stop picking Yankees now. That's my last Yankee. I will make sure that's my last Yankee.
That's 3 so far, right?
And so that's my first lefty. And so now I'm gonna go. What am I missing? First baseman.
Right field, DH.
I could. You know what? I'll go Mookie Betts as my right fielder. One of the best of this era. Second, it's gonna be second in MVP voting this year. He would be MVP if Acuna didn't exist. But Mookie Betts, one of the best defensive right fielders of all time, and also one of the best bats of all time, and just an all-around athlete. You guys have seen the clips of him playing basketball, football. One of the
Bowling.
really good bowler. I'm sure he's good at tennis or golf or something like
Yeah.
that. Just an all-around stud in everything that he does.
Those guys make me jealous.
Right.
Those guys make me jealous when I see that.
I mean, it'll do you no good up against my pitching staff, but so be it.
Good point.
Is it my pick?
Here's your pick.
All right, I need plenty of time to think about a second baseman because I do not have a backup there. All my second basemen were pre-2000s.
Well, this is easy. We're not worried about people cheating.
That's what I'm
First of all,
saying.
you could have Jeff Kent. Second of all, you could have the trash can man, Altuve.
Oh, okay. I will take Altuve. then.
Altuve.
I'll take Altuve then. Again, we're not going to test for steroids. We're not going to do a background check on these guys to make sure they're model
Hey,
citizens.
like I said, we need to win one game. We're not caring about all the
Fate of the universe.
fate of the universe. I need these
We're
guys to
playing.
win me
I'm
a
not
baseball
taking
game.
Iguodala, okay?
That's right.
All right, it's Dad's pick.
So I got 2 now. I got 2.
Is this going to round out your team, Dad?
No, I need. I've got 3 more spots to go.
Okay.
All right. So center field's still sitting wide open. First base and catcher. I could finish out my team because you guys won't need a catcher.
Yeah, we're out.
But and you don't need a center fielder. So my center fielder is going to be Andrew Jones.
Awesome pick.
Yep.
One of the best. He might be the best defensive
Andrew
center fielder of all
Jones.
time.
And then at first base, I'll get this guy before Jackson has a chance to get him. I'll get Todd Helton.
Wow.
Todd Helton.
Why are you saying before I get him?
Well, you need a first baseman, right?
Oh yeah, I do need a first baseman.
or you need to move Miguel Cabrera over to first and go get Arenado.
I could do that. I got someone else in mind though.
All right.
So go ahead, your pick.
Okay, my pick. I need a right fielder, correct, Dad?
Yes.
I'm going to go take the Hopper.
Bryce Harper. Good pick there, man.
That is sincerely
Jeremy approved.
Jeremy approved.
that
Hey,
is
hey, Jeremy, I remember this.
paying homage to Jeremy.
When Jeremy would go to restaurants where they would ask for your name, Jeremy would always say Bryce because
Bryce.
he was paying homage to
He
Bryce
wore 34.
Harper.
He's a lefty, so I'm doing that in honor of Jeremy.
I'd say you're similar play style to Bryce Harper, right? You played just like him. Yeah, both hit bombs. So let's see here. What am I missing?
You
First
need a
baseman
first base,
and a DH. And Dad actually just said my pick as my DH.
Oh.
I'm going Mr. Shohei Ohtani
That's so good.
as my DH.
Why was he not on my mind at all?
Great value pick. What round is this? I don't even know. But Shohei is going to be my stud.
It's getting late early.
It's going to be my stud DH. And then my first baseman is also going to be another lefty. So this will be my third lefty. One of the most consistent hitters of our lifetime. It's going to be Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
Yep.
The dude just hits, man. Hits for average every single year. Really hasn't had a down year probably ever. Like, just been consistently awesome.
You can put him right up. I mean, Joey Votto, Freddie
Right.
Freeman. Freeman's done a little bit more winning,
Right.
You know, where he's been in Atlanta and in LA, and I would pick Freeman over him probably as well.
So that's I think I'm done with my
Are you
squad.
done?
You're done.
I just need a DH.
You did,
Yep.
but we're both done. So after this pick, we'll say our full squads.
Okay. At DH, I'm going to take a lefty because I've
You
got
got Griffey.
I've got Griffey, but I don't think I have any more. So I'm going to go with another guy that just hits tanks, Jim Thome.
Nice.
Jim
Oh, you got Bryce Harper
Thome.
too. You got Bryce Harper.
Okay,
Not a
good,
lefty.
good. I needed diversification there.
Absolutely.
So would you count Jim Thome as a dominant 2000 guy, or is he more 90s?
Yeah, it's close. It's close.
close.
He'd have a chance.
Right.
He'd have a chance.
Because my other option was going to be Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
My
well.
other option is going to be Aaron Judge. I'm going to go Thome.
Right.
I'm going to go Thome.
All right. So to round out, I'm gonna name my team, then Carson, then Dad.
Can I name my last pick?
Oh, I thought you said you were done.
No, I had to get one more.
My
Go
fault.
get a
Go
catcher.
ahead. Go get your catcher.
As much as it might pain me to do, I will take a Yankee and Jorge Posada.
Good pick, man.
I didn't know if
Very, very
Pudge
underrated.
Rodriguez was going to qualify.
Pudge, I put Pudge in the 90s.
Okay.
And so Joe Mauer,
Yeah.
Jorge Posada, but I'll go with Posada.
We pretty much got the 2010 catchers.
Seriously, we did.
I
yeah.
mean, besides Yachty and Posey, I don't even know who is Salvador Perez the next best one.
Possibly.
Yep.
I mean,
Could be.
so my lineup. Let's see. I'm gonna do it how I would put this lineup in order.
good.
Oh,
Gravy.
Jack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna run out of daylight.
I'm gonna go Jeter as my leadoff hitter, and then I'm gonna go Ohtani as my two hitter. I'm going Miggy at third. I'm going Trout at fourth. I'm going Freddie fifth. I'm going Soriano sixth. I'm going Mookie seventh. I'm going Posey eighth, and I'm finishing off with Robbie Cano as my ninth hitter. And then my two pitchers are going to be Max Scherzer and Mariano Rivera.
All right. Thanks, Jack. I'm not going to get as creative as Jack here. I've got Yachty Air Molina as my catcher. I've got Albert Pujols as my first baseman. Jose Altuve, not wearing a buzzer at second base. I've got A-Rod playing short. Adrian Beltre playing third. Left field, I've got Manny Ramirez. Center fielder, Ken Griffey Jr. Right fielder, Bryce Harper. DH, Jim Thome. And my starter on the mound is Clayton Kershaw with Aroldis Chapman finishing it out.
Hey, listen to some guys we left off the list just real quickly. All right.
That's all about the honorable
Some guys
mentions.
that didn't get picked were Arenado, we mentioned him, Lance Berkman, Jim Edmonds,
Yeah.
Andrew McCutcheon, Josh Hamilton, Ichiro,
Oh, we did not choose
Ichiro.
Ichiro. That's tough.
Vlad Guerrero,
I'm just dingers. I couldn't.
Just tanks. Just tanks.
Nelson Cruz, Verlander, Pedro, excuse me, not
Randy
Pedro,
Johnson
but Randy
didn't get
Johnson. Trevor Hoffman.
Yep.
But still, overall, we're not ashamed of these lineups right here. All right, so behind the plate, I've got Posada. At first, Todd Helton. Second, Chase Utley. Third, Chipper Jones. At short, Miguel Tejada. In the outfield, Bonds in left. Andrew Jones in center. Ronald Acuna in right. Big Poppy is the DH. Pedro's on the hill, so I got the Red Sox vibe going. And Billy Wagner closing it out.
Those are some stud teams.
Dad definitely
So I'm
leaning
winning-
towards the
I'm-
older.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
beating both you guys in 5. I'm beating both teams in a best of
You
7
think
in
so?
5.
You think so? So, out of all those lineups that you heard, let us know, out of all the drafts, who you think won. Dad, appreciate you hopping on the pod one last time for the
last
finale.
time.
We had to
One
have
last time.
the father on there. Jeremy and Hunter, thank you guys for hopping on the pod. Truly appreciate it. As you can tell, the light has changed since we've been out here. We've been out for an hour and 20 minutes now. Just want to say, guys, thank you again for all the support on the show. We actually got up to 3,000 listeners all time in the year that we had the podcast. So that's a pretty cool number. Cars, you got some words you'd like to say for the finale?
No, I just want to thank the fans, if we can even call them fans. A lot of them are just friends that support us, so thank you all for listening. It truly was fun for us. Just kind of got our thoughts out there. Don't know if you agreed with it, don't know if you thought it was funny, but I know we love doing it. And it was something for us to stay connected with. So, Jack, I'm going to miss you, but I know you're going on to bigger and better things.
Absolutely.
I know this probably won't be your last podcast ever.
It's actually not. I'd like to shout out a podcast that I have just joined called The Couch Coaches, which Hunter's a part of. It's got some other guys. It's a football podcast. We're just going to sit there and yell at each other about the NFL and fantasy football and stuff like that. But the Man2Man will have a special place in my heart because, again, the night that I had a dream about starting a podcast with my brother, calling it the Man2Man, and then the next day I said, let's get it rolling. So, again, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all the support. I'll try to get this on Apple Podcasts, but this might be just a YouTube one. And if you've made it all the way here, at least like and subscribe.
Give yourself a pat on the
Right,
back.
give yourself a pat on the back. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. We will not see you guys next week, but if you see us around, we can talk Man2Man all you want to. So thank you guys.
Love you guys.